And good evening, Western New York. Hello, NAWBO sisters and some of our NAWBO friends as well. My name is Paula D'Amico, and I am the president of the local chapter here in the Buffalo, Niagara area. And every Monday we come live to you with our Monday member spotlight. We shine the spotlight on one of our members, and today we are shining the spotlight on Ann Showers. She is with Check It Off Home Services. And I know the name and I know the face very well because Ann and her husband have been to my house many times. So Ann, thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
And so Ann is actually one of our new members, our new NAWBO sisters. And so again, we're so happy to have you as part of the NAWBO sisterhood. And the business is fairly new too, isn't it, Ann?
Yes, we started it. We were thinking about it for about a year, but we've officially launched in August of 2020. So we're a brand new baby.
And did you start the business out of something that you saw a need for in the Western New York area?
Well, yes, there's a lot of issues with contractors that we've noticed, a lot of complaints that we've heard through the grapevine. Like our friends were hiring people that didn't work out. They would put down a deposit, never show up, never finish. And I had been pushing my husband for years to get going on his own because he did this similar work for his employer. For hundreds of retail and residential spaces. I'm like, listen, you can go off on your own. You can do this. I can run a business. You can go out in the field and take care of the customers. I think we'd be a good team. And he finally, with a lot of pushing, he finally took the leap and did this with me. So we're really happy about it. And it's so much better on him, especially to be his own boss or work kind of for me. I'm a nice person to
because
work
he's
for.
not home, right?
Yeah.
So that is like the best of both worlds. So for some of our NAWBO sisters out there who have, their spouses, their significant others work as well. It's when you have both at home, it can be a little taxing.
Yes.
So it's nice when, one leaves and the other one stays, right?
Yeah.
But, working together as a team, so when the idea came up that you would work together as a team and start this business, did you kind of look at each other and say, well, can we do it? Or, we really, I don't know, was there any type of an apprehension maybe because the fact you're a couple?
I mean, well, he and I, it's funny because he and I worked together back before I have a nonprofit and, did all this. He and I bartended for a year together. So we got really used to working together and as a team. And so we already knew that we were good side by side and that was, long hours, 12 to 14 hour shifts that we worked together. So I never really was concerned about working with him. But he has always had a traditional job of working for a steady employer, whereas I've always been freelance doing something, working on my education, working for small businesses, working for myself. So I had been more familiar with launching and doing different things. And so it was more of him being apprehensive and me pushing him to make that leap. And we made the decision that once he had set up a month's worth of work, that was a good indicator that we were able to launch. And it wasn't that difficult to compile a month's worth of work. And so then he put his 2 weeks notice and he launched, and we haven't looked back, and it's been going very well.
So let's talk about Check It Off Home Services and what services you actually provide. So it really is like a handyman service, right? So Ann, when you and I have known each other in several different groups across the Western New York area over the past few years. But when we reconnected at a NAWBO dinner back in the day when we used to meet in person, which it will happen again, But when we reconnected and you told me you started this business, I said, "Oh, that's amazing. I need a handyman." So, what services do you provide?
So it's small one-person jobs. That is our niche. A lot of contractors will do like the larger jobs, like full bath remodels. We stick to maybe half bath remodels, small painting jobs, small repair work. If you need a faucet installed, light fixture replaced, you have an outlet that's not working, anything that you can see in the home is something that he can work on, repair. He's even built small shelves before, so it's like the small stuff. He has a good example of a small joblet is that he helped a woman dismantle her home so that she could get it ready to move. So taking apart
Wow.
furniture, taking TVs off walls, and then when she moved into the new home, then he reassembled her home, putting together the furniture, putting
Wow.
the TVs back on the walls. So that's a good example of something that people don't really think about needing a handyman for, but really helped her out. Shelving, molding, painting. It's all those little things that pop up in a home.
Absolutely. And who doesn't have some things, that need to be done around the house, and I'm guilty of this, that I think I can do it myself. And then you try to do it yourself, and then it doesn't turn out quite the way you expected it. So then you need to call on someone to help you fix what needed to be fixed before, so it's almost like a double fix. So I was happy to find a handyman. I'm sure there's other people out there too that have probably told you, I've been looking for a handyman for a long time. It's hard to find somebody you trust, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of our clients, they are people that they will hire us for one small job. And then they tell us, like, if this goes well, then we'll have you come over for other things. I think people are just so nervous because of the reputation a lot of contractors have that they're going to come in, not do a good job, or not show up, or botch the work. Like we've heard so many stories of that happening. And so he'll do the one job, and then the next thing you know, they give him the list, and then they'll refer him out to more people. And you've noticed that once you have a customer relationship with a handyman, people will call you and keep calling you for small things that come up, because you need that relationship. It is important. My mom, she had a handyman. This is back a few years ago, that she always called on for everything. So I remember how that went. But yeah, so I love this type of work. It's interesting being a woman in this work, but I've come to really learn a lot about the business and learn a lot about what customers are looking for and the types of things that Jess can do. But a really funny, quick thing about people starting their work and then realizing they need a handyman, we work with customers where if they want to do a portion of the job themselves and then only have us do a small thing, we will work with customers. So if they want to DIY some portions, and, we're happy to work on the project and collaborate together to finish it. And the other funny side, though, we've had so many times where customers will get a neighbor or a friend or someone that says they know what they're doing to come in and do the work, and then it's not done well. So I think it's different if the customer themselves might know how to do something and then maybe ask a handyman to come and finish it or collaborate. But versus, like, if you don't know how to do something, do not get a neighbor or a friend or someone that's not qualified, because it really is a skill. It's something that has to be learned to do well for good finish work.
So on that note, I've been following since I've actually had Jesse come over and do quite a few projects in our home, and we're so grateful. He does great work. So, a live referral right here that Jess does great work. He's so lovely, and so gentlemanly when he comes in, and so easy to work with. Let's talk about a few things. First of all, since I've been following you, I've noticed that you've been posting up that you have to be you have to get certifications, right, to be working in certain areas. Is that correct? Can you expand on
Yes.
that?
Yeah, so each town has different licensing requirement. Across the board, you have to have insurance in order to be licensed in an area. But to work in the city of Buffalo, you need to have your lead certifications called RRP. And if you don't have your lead certification, I mean, that's a $10,000 fine for the business. They have a lot of requirements to work in city of Buffalo, and we are licensed there. Not every contractor is because of those requirements. So it is important when trying to vet a contractor, finding out where they are licensed is helpful. Tonawanda has also quite strict licensing requirements. So if they're licensed in Tonawanda or the city of Buffalo, then you know you've got a better contractor.
So, and on that note, this has been a different time. We're in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah.
When you started your business, of course, you had no idea that this was going to be happening, right?
Yeah.
So now this has changed. This has probably changed your business in ways that you never would have imagined. So let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, and then I'm going to throw a couple questions out, and then you can answer the questions. First of all, it changed how Jesse could go into somebody's home. That was one thing. And then the other is you may have seen a huge influx of people calling on you because they have been spending time at home.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're looking around going, I really need to fix this, and I need to fix that, and I need to fix that. So let's talk about what does Jesse do now that he didn't do before because of the pandemic when he's walking into someone's home?
So we launched mid-pandemic. So we don't have a good comparison of what is before because we just started a business in 2020, which, it might not be ideal, but like you said, we had a lot of customers that had home offices or spending more time in the living room, and they're like looking at the cracks on the ceiling. So that was been beneficial, but the main things is making sure, we have COVID questions in our email reminders that basically say, make sure you're not exposed, make sure you have not tested positive. So we have these 3 questions that every customer has to see. He wears a mask and require that a mask is worn when in the same room as Jess. I mean, we want to keep everybody safe, and he does a lot of sanitization of his equipment whenever possible, sanitizing his hands before and after entering a home. So he's always trying to follow the New York State guidelines to keep everybody safe. And it's different with a handyman. He's a 1-person job. So we are always considered an essential service for building maintenance and repair. So we've been really fortunate that because he's only a small job, 1-person operation, that we have been able to maintain work and to go to people's homes and keep busy. Whereas other industries are not that fortunate.
Have you had a lot of conversations with a lot of people calling and saying, that they needed all those extra repair work done around their house because of the pandemic, right?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like people are home more, so they're seeing their space. A lot of people have moved to larger spaces, for example, where they realize working from home that they don't have a place to work, or, they're trying to expand a little bit. So I've noticed that some people are converting places that were not offices into offices. So they might add shelving or, add or fix their desk. A lot of new desks to be assembled, we've noticed. So that type of thing. Yeah. So there's some like little unique things that we've noticed has happened that, it'd be interesting to see if it continues post-pandemic. I think that a lot of employers have figured out that remote work does work. So I wonder if that is going to be a continued trend.
It's like Ann Mia for a second. Oh, we're back.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. It's okay.
I said that a lot of employers have figured out that remote work does work. So I'm curious to see how much of this is going to continue past 2021.
Right. Absolutely. Because now we've we've created this new normal, right, of working from home, and we make all these changes, and employers are still trying to figure out what's more productive. Is it, should I bring my staff back or leave them at home? So, well, that's, that's great. It's, the pandemic has not slowed business down at all. We have about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to invite, because we have quite a number of ladies that have jumped on here. If you ladies have any questions for Ann, please feel free to jump on. I can see your comments. Give your questions, and I will ask Ann your questions. In the meantime, Ann, before we go any further, people are probably already wondering, how do they get a hold of you, and how do they get a hold of Jesse and get Jesse to their house?
Okay, so it's pretty simple. You can give us a call, and we will call you right back if we miss it. But I'm always on the phone, so if he doesn't pick up, I pick up. So one of us will always be available. We also have a instant messenger that's on our website during business hours, so you can message us right through the website. You can message us on Facebook. You can also, we have a contact form on our website, so you can submit that. So I am the at the desk person, on the phone person. So 9 times out of 10, if you contact the company, I'm the one that takes the messages, schedules the work, the estimates, and I'm really good at guessing. I say guessing, but I really am good at estimating, like, how long will something take. And if I don't know the answer to that, I always get Jess on the phone and find out. So I've actually, having done this since August, I have really gotten my feet into the industry and have a good sense of all of the work and the types of work and how long, in general, if someone has a list of items to be worked on, like how much time that list will generally take, give or take the any complications that might arise when you're working on a person's home.
So we have a question from one of our ladies, from one of our NAWBO sisters. She wants to know, how many days or weeks ahead are you booking?
Right now we're consistently booking 3 weeks ahead. So if there is, so it's it's been pretty steady. And every time I think, oh, we got some openings in the schedule, what does that look like? Literally, that as soon as I say that, then we get busy. So if you,
or I get a call.
Yeah, give me a call. Not to say that sometimes cancellations don't happen, things come up, especially with the pandemic. We've had people that call us that say, oh, you can't see you because of I traveled, or my nephew got exposed or something. So that does happen, unfortunately. But if it's, we're not an emergency company where, oh no, my sink is leaking right now and everything there's water everywhere. We're not that company. So it's, usually if someone just needs something painted or cracks repaired or minor repairs, it's not like an emergency type of situation.
So let's talk about being two things. Let's talk about being a woman in business. You've been a woman in business, having a career for years now, but now having your own business with your husband. How's it going as a woman-owned business? Challenges?
I think that the main challenges were in the very beginning, like the first few months, it was how do we work together as a team on this? Because Jess has been in the industry for 8-9 years, so he knows all of there is to know about repair work. Whereas me, my background's in education, and so for him, he's like, well, you're not going to know these things, and he was all about, like, I do the scheduling, I take these calls. So it was basically like, are you sure you want to do scheduling? Because I can manage a calendar, I can run a business. Are you sure? So it was a little bit in the beginning of him trying to, figure out where his role is versus where my role is. And then once he realized that he can't handle the customers and be in the field, and every night we talk about the business, every week we run through how did this week go? How are these customers doing? So I am in the up and up on every customer. So I am aware of what's going on. And when he realized that I can tell a person on the phone, how long something will generally take. And I was accurate because I'd ask him like, hey, I told this person 2 hours. It's 2 hours, right? He's like, yeah, it's 2 hours. So once he realized that, no, like I can learn the industry really quick. I can figure out what people are looking for and ask all the right questions. Then he's like, okay, yeah, then I understand that you can do all the scheduling. And we came up with a really good system. So now I do take all the new customer calls and schedule all the appointments and schedule estimates and things like that. And he's really happy that he can like leave the business side in my hands comfortably, and then he can just focus on making customers happy. And so that was like the tough part, because a woman in a contracting business who's never been a contractor before, it was a brand new industry to learn. So I had to do a lot of research and a lot of talking with him to really get a sense of what this is about. And plus, being a woman in contracting, I'm the one who's doing all the networking. And I am meeting with contractors, and they are predominantly male. So part of that is proving to them that I know what I'm talking about. I know the industry. And when they're asking questions, that I know the lingo that to show that we are a competent business. So there is that side of things. Education is primarily women dominated. So I don't really have to try to prove that I know as much, like I know as much, but to prove it, you know what I mean? Whereas when dealing with meeting with contractors, it's a different area.
Well, it's all about communication, right? And you've obviously grown in all sorts of different ways over the past few months as you started your business and you're maneuvering your way through this new experience, which is obviously very successful because you're booking 3 weeks out, which I'm going to have to call you after this and book for Jesse so I can make sure he can come over and help out. So you and I have been in several different networking groups, and you're fairly new to NAWBO. We're so happy to have you as part of the NAWBO sisterhood. As a new member, I'd like to ask you, do you have an ask of our sisters, or is there something that you're looking for maybe your sisters, your NAWBO sisters, to help you with or assist you with?
That's a great question. We're a new business, and it's always about word of mouth, and it's always about trying to encourage people to get brand awareness. We're on Facebook a lot. We're on Nextdoor, and it is always helpful, I find, when people know, like people will ask all the time, do you have a handyman? Do you know this of a company that can help us with this? So I always ask, like, keeping an eye out for those types of recommendations and thinking about us first, knowing, about our business and thinking about those types of online relationships, because I find that that's where a lot of the requests come in that I've noticed. So I think about it as always eyes out there and sharing of information.
Absolutely. So, we just have about 3 minutes left. So again, ladies, I know there's still several of you, there's still quite a few of you still logged on here. If you have any questions, feel free to put your questions right now in the comments section. If you have questions for Ann later, she will be more than happy to be checking those comments later on and making sure that you have your questions answered. Again, you can find it's Check It Off Home Services.
Yep.
Ann Showers and her husband Jesse run this great business. I find it like for me, it was like the angels were singing from heaven when I found you, because I had been looking for a handyman for the longest time, somebody that I can trust and somebody that I can rely on and know they're going to come and they're going to do the best job that they can. And really, the two of you together, your business has really proven its weight in gold for me, for sure, definitely. And it's not a commercial, my friends. This is actually just a testimonial that they do a great job. So to reach out to you, they can call you. You've got a website. You're on Facebook. And where else can they? It's really just website and Facebook, right?
Yeah,
at this point?
Facebook website. I mean, we have a contact form on there. Our phone number, we're always available. And then there's on our website, if you log on during our business hours, which are generally 9 to 6, then there's actually an instant messenger feature right on our website, so we can chat back and forth if you're not on Facebook. So there's different ways. I try to be really up and up in the technology. I think that's also what sets our company apart. In the beginning, we were trying to figure it out, but now we have a really smooth system where, our contact form is linked to our customer database. And anytime anybody contacts us, we're always following up. I try to make a rule of within 24 hours, if we get an email or a message, we try to make sure we're always following up with them. Any messages we get on the weekend, I try to follow up that following Monday. So our goal is to be very communicative, which I know is not so common, again, in the contracting world, because unfortunately, so many people are solopreneurs in that world. So, Jess was learning the hard way. Yeah, you can't be in the field taking care of customers, taking the phone, checking the email. You need that other person that is going to run the business. Otherwise, you're never going to catch up.
Absolutely. You guys do a great job for sure. I mean, whenever I've reached out, I get a response fairly quickly, and if not immediately, and we make an appointment, and Jesse's always on time. So that's great. And once again, just for those that may have just jumped on, what services do you offer for the Check It Off Home Services?
It's small one-person jobs. So that would be like painting a room or 2 or 3, but not a whole house. It would be doing molding or small wall repairs, ceiling repairs. If you have shelves that need to be assembled, if you have TVs that need to be mounted, furniture put together, furniture pulled apart. So it's really bath fans, light fixtures. So sometimes people want to replace light fixtures or replace faucets or small half bath remodels. He can change toilets, add in vanity. It's really anything you see in your house that we can do. We just can't go and replace piping behind walls, put in brand new electrical lines in walls. Those are things that you need a licensed plumber or electrician to do.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So, and let me I know we're going to run a couple minutes over here, but Check It Off Home Services is the name of the business. Perfect name, because you want to check it off the list.
I'm
sure that was
nice
job, Ann. I think that's great because I've got the list and I'm like, oh, I got to check it off. And then it just reminds me that I got to call you and make an appointment. So thanks so much for joining us, Ann, today. It was great. It was enlightening. We've got a lot of the ladies that were commenting. I would expect some phone calls over the next few weeks from our lady friends. And so this is Monday Member Spotlight, NAWBO sisters and NAWBO visitors. We're here every Monday live. This week, Ann Showers joined us from Check It Off Home Services. And next week, we actually are going to have Maria Pendolino, who is from Voice by Maria. And so what does someone do when they do voiceovers? How does that work? Well, this lady is amazing because she's got some stories to tell and she works out of her home. So we're going to meet Maria and we're going to find out exactly how she does it all and helps businesses grow just by using the power of her voice. So Ann, again, thanks so much for joining us today. It was so wonderful to have you on our Monday Member Spotlight. Listen, ladies, again, we'll be here every Monday live on Facebook. And stay tuned for next week's guest, which is Maria. And everyone have a great week. God bless you and stay safe. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
We loved it. Thanks so much, Ann.